Thank you so much for attending my presentation about Rinkah, a unit from Fates, playable in Birthright and Revelations, and before we begin, there needs to be a brief disclaimer. In this video, I will not be taking potential as a parent or anything gained from marriage or friendship into the equation, as I both don't think it's part of what the unit can provide for your team by itself, and if I were to discuss everything a unit could gain from marriage or friendship, this video would be 2 hours long. With that being said, let's talk about Rinkah's traits. Rinkah joins you in Chapter 4, but leaves briefly on the Revelations route before rejoining you in Chapter 9. She has a staggeringly high defense growth of 65% and very middle of the road stats elsewhere. Her growths are actually quite bad by Fate standards, with her growth and strength tying Kaze and her HP growth being a full 20% worse than Kaze. In fact, all of her growths are worse than Kaze's, barring his 0% default magic growth and her 15% higher luck growth. While this can lead to Rinkah's damage numbers being lower than one might expect when looking at her, she does have a few things going for her that combat that idea. The first of which is her unique skill Fiery Blood, which allows her to deal an extra 4 points of damage when her HP is less than full, and the second of which, should she choose to promote into an Oni Chieftain, is that she will already possess Resistance Seal. This makes her awful magic still viable, albeit in a roundabout way upon promotion. Rinkah's reclass option is the Ninja class line, which I would highly encourage you to avoid, as while it will increase her skill, speed, and resistance, it will absolutely cripple her already poor strength and magic growths, as well as tanking her defense growths from really good to just average. The only reason for her to go into the Ninja class line is, possibly, for Replicate, but the costs of getting it on Rinkah are often too great, as by the time you can acquire it, she'll be cripplingly weak. This leaves Rinkah with only one really viable strategy: promote her into an Oni Chieftain, and make use of her high defense with the counter skill they gain, as well as the Oni Savage's Resistance Seal. With a combination of these things, Rinkah can become, effectively, a late game general that attacks with magic instead of clubs. The reason this works is due to the low average resistance of enemies on the Birthright route. Unlike a lot of units, Rinkah isn't hit nearly as bad by the Revelations route. She still joins later, but not so much later that she can't be made a viable unit should the player wish to make use of her. However, everything making her a middling unit in Birthright still applies in Revelations, meaning that she is often best used for a few chapters before hitting the bench. If nothing else, the bonuses her class line can provide for supported partners can make her a decent backpack for your unit struggling to deal as much damage as you'd like. In conclusion, Rinkah isn't a very good unit, but nonetheless can fulfill a specific niche if the player wishes and is surprisingly more viable than a lot of other units in Revelations. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to like and subscribe.